Welcome to We Are Women, Unapologetically, the podcast that talks about the good, bad, ugly, and awesome. Careers, life transitions, confidence, and everything in between. Because shift happens, but you don't have to do it alone.
You have made it to the end of season 1. If you have been here with me from episode 1, you have not just listened to a podcast. You have walked through a full circle moment with me. You have navigated burnout, imposter syndrome, financial fears, doubt, and quiet resilience. And here you are. Week after week, we have been peeling back the layers of not only what holds you back, but also what propels you forward. And if this is your first episode, you have picked a powerful place to start. Speaking of powerful, listen to this. According to McKinsey's Women in the Workplace report, a staggering 43% of women leaders report feeling burned out compared to 31% of their male counterparts. That is nearly half of all women operating on empty, running on fumes, showing up with smiles while feeling hollow inside. And when these women were asked why they didn't make a change, the number one reason wasn't logistics, money, childcare, or any of those external factors you would think to blame. The number one reason was permission. They were waiting for someone else to give them permission to make a change. Brilliant, accomplished, capable women with advanced degrees, teams depending on them, decades of experience, are sitting in their cars before work, taking deep breaths and thinking, I need to make a change. I cannot continue to live like this. But then they're walking into the same building anyway. Why? Because they are waiting for someone else to say, it is okay to want more. It is okay to follow your passion. It is okay to make the change. This episode is all about decision, activation. The moment you stop overthinking your next move and step into it, even if it's imperfect, even if you don't have all the answers, even if it makes some people uncomfortable, and I'm going to tell you, it probably will. This is your wake-up call. Not because you didn't know you needed to make the change, but because deep down, you did know and you have known. You have just been waiting for someone else to tap you on the shoulder and say, you're allowed. You have been waiting for permission. I'm here to tell you, you already have it. You have had it. You have sat in the reflection long enough. Now, it's time to rise with direction, because no one else is going to hand you the life that you want. You need to choose it, you need to own it, and you need to go after it. And today, you finally do. I am Jessica Cumming, and welcome to We Are Women Unapologetically. This is the finale of our first season, and it's about to get real. So go grab your coffee, your wine, your journal, or simply just bring your beautiful self into the moment, because by the end of this episode, you will have everything you need to finally make your move. First, I want to talk about why do you wait? Because it's not about procrastination or perfectionism, but Lord knows those are very two valid reasons that we discuss this season. It's actually deeper than that, though. It's systemic. It's ingrained. And I'm here to tell you, it is costing you years of your life, whether you know it or not. Recent research from the Harvard Business Review found that women on average apply for positions only when they meet 100% of the requirements. Yet men, they apply when they meet just 60%. Think about that for a minute. You might literally be waiting until you check every single box, but you feel worthy of even trying. Meanwhile, your male colleagues, they're out there saying, I got 6 out of 10. I'm going to shoot my shot. Watch me land this thing. And listen, this is not about blaming men or bashing them at all. They have figured something out that we need to embrace, that we need to listen to, and we need to learn from. It is the audacity to try before you are ready. And that's actually a superpower, because waiting isn't just about job applications. It shows up in 3 key ways that I see over and over and over again with my clients. First, you wait for clarity. I just need to be sure. I need to know exactly where this path is going to lead me. I need to see the whole staircase before I take the first step. My dear, I am here to tell you, you do not need to see the whole staircase in order to take the first step, but rather you need to be able to take that first step in order to see the full staircase. You tell yourself you need more clarity before you make a move. In my coaching practice, I have worked with women in transition all over the world. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, the women who found their dream path didn't start with perfect clarity. They started with curiosity and a willingness to take a step into the unknown. They are the ones that committed to the exploration, not the destination. The second way you wait for permission, and this one actually cuts deep for high-achieving women. You have been conditioned since childhood to seek approval. To be the good girl, to raise your hand, wait to be called on, to get the gold star, the straight A, the promotion, the recognition. You have built a career on being the good girl who follows the rules and waits her turn. But here's the uncomfortable truth about that. High-achieving women have been trained to seek approval from bosses, parents, systems, and society at large. But no one's coming with a permission slip. It's your job now to make it happen. Does that sound familiar? Taking one more course before you launch the business. Waiting for your boss to suggest that you apply for that promotion. Thinking another certification would be a great thing to finally make you qualified enough to make your move. Getting one more degree, one more credential, one more checked box. Here's something fascinating. A 2023 LinkedIn Workforce Confidence Index showed that 68% of women who successfully pivoted careers said that their biggest regret wasn't making a mistake in their new path. It was waiting too long to make that initial leap in the first place. Not, I wish I would have been more prepared, not, I wish I would have taken more courses, but I wish I wouldn't have wasted so much time waiting. And the third way that you wait to feel ready. I'll do it when I feel ready. May be the most expensive lie you ever tell yourself. Because here's the truth that changed everything for me. You won't feel ready. Because being ready is not a feeling. It is a decision. Readiness isn't an emotional state that magically descends upon you one day. It is a choice you make while still feeling scared, still feeling uncertain, still feeling like maybe you're making a mistake. And I am here to tell you that that feeling of not being ready, but actually taking action, is what tells your body to release the hormones of confidence. Every woman who's ever done something bold, started a company, left a toxic relationship, moved across the country, changed careers at 45 or 55, did it before she felt 100% ready. She just decided the cost of waiting was higher than the cost of getting it wrong. I want you to take a moment right now, wherever you are, driving in your car, folding laundry, walking the dog, whatever it is. I just want you to take a moment and reflect on these questions. What are you waiting for? What is the thing you keep putting off until you feel ready? Who told you you needed to wait? Was it really someone else Or was it that voice in your head that's keeping you small? Where have you been shrinking instead of stepping up and showing out? Where have you been dimming your light in order to make others feel comfortable? The most successful women I know, the ones with the careers and the lives that everyone else admires, aren't the ones who waited until everything lined up perfectly. They are the ones who decided they were tired of waiting and chose themselves anyway. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Why making that choice isn't just empowering. It is the most responsible thing you can do for yourself, your career, and yes, even the people that depend on you. Some people will tell you it's just risky to walk away from something that looks good on paper. The secure job, the stable career path, the responsible choice that your parents or partner or society approves of. But I am here to tell you what's actually risky. Staying in the wrong life until you don't recognize yourself anymore. Continuing to build someone else's dream while yours withers on the vine. Showing your children, your team, your community that settling is what responsible adults do. And I'm going to let you know right now, that is not just risky. It is a guarantee of regret. Let me share something powerful with you that shifted my perspective on risk. A longitudinal study from the University of Pennsylvania followed professionals through their career transitions over a 10-year period. What were the results? Those who made strategic pivots reported 23% higher job satisfaction, 18% higher income growth. And are you ready for this last one? Because it's the kicker. 31% better health outcomes than those that stayed in misaligned roles out of fear or obligation. I'm here to tell you that is not reckless. That is responsible, financial, emotional, and physical planning. Here's another interesting one for you. And I'm wondering how many of you fit into this category, so listen up. According to Gallup, 85% of people worldwide hate their jobs. 85%. That's not a statistic. That is an epidemic. And what's the cost? Stress-related health issues alone cost American businesses $300 billion annually. So when we talk about risk, let's be clear about what's really at stake. Staying in roles that dim your light isn't playing it safe. It's playing it small, and it's time to stop. Playing it small isn't just bad for you. It is bad for everyone who could benefit from your gifts, your talents being fully expressed and utilized. Let's reframe what pivoting actually is, because I think that some people really get this all wrong. Pivoting is not running away. It is a strategic decision rooted in growth, not fear. It is moving towards something, not away from something. It's not abandoning ship. It is a sign of leadership. You're not reacting. You are redirecting. You are showing everyone around you what courageous decision-making looks like. It's not selfish. It is a legacy choice. You're building a life that others will use as a blueprint. Your daughter, your niece, your mentee, your sister, your team, your granddaughter. They are all watching you. And your pivot, that's what gives them permission for their own. This matters more than ever right now because the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs reports predicts that 85 million jobs may be displaced by 2025. And here we are, 97 million new ones will emerge. The landscape isn't just changing, it's transforming before your eyes. The skills that got you here are not going to get you there. And if that's not scary enough, by 2027, over 50% of the workforce will need to be re-skilled. That is not gender specific or age specific. It's going to be impacting us all. And those who master the art of strategic pivots won't just survive. They will thrive in this new economy. Now is the time to start your strategic pivot. So let me tie in elements from our pivot toolkit that we've been building throughout the season. Because planning a pivot doesn't mean you're standing still. 76% of professional career changers started building skills for their new direction while still in their previous role. They were creating bridges, not burning them. They were creating networks. They were saying yes to extra projects, volunteering for cross-functional teams, courses at night, testing the waters before even making a leap. Progress doesn't require permission. The average successful woman makes 2.5 significant career pivots in her lifetime. That is not flaky. That is adaptability. And right now, that is what we all need to be. That is responding to changing circumstances, evolving interests, and growing wisdom. That's honoring the fact that the woman you are at 45 or 55 wants different things than the woman you were at 25 or 35. It is not reckless when you've done both the inner and outer work. And I'm telling you, both take work. Studies show that career transitions planned over a 3 to 6 month period have an 82% higher success rate than impulsive changes. This is not about quitting your job tomorrow without a plan. It is about intentional exploration, strategic skill building, and mindful decision making. The most successful pivots I've witnessed are not impulsive jumps. They're intentional bridges built with both courage and calculation. You do not have to choose between financial stability and fulfillment. The real magic happens when you are able to engineer both. And that's what I want for you. Not just liberation, but a strategy. Not just passion, but a plan. Because here's what I know for sure. The women who change the world are not the ones who wait until retirement to pursue what matters. They are the ones that decide that life is too short and their gifts are too damn valuable to be wasted another day playing small at the expense of their happiness. And that brings us to what makes all of this possible. It is called the unapologetic mindset, and it transforms wishful thinking into decisive action. And I want to talk about what this looks like in practice because it is something that I have learned on my own journey and with working with hundreds of women in transition. It's not just a nice to have, it is a non-negotiable. It is the foundation of every successful pivot. But what does unapologetic actually mean? Because I'm not talking about being rude, dismissive, or charging ahead without consideration for others. It's actually quite the opposite. I am talking about a deep, grounded confidence in your own worth and in your own wisdom. I am talking about you being able to trust yourself enough to honor your instincts, even when they lead you in unexpected directions. Kind of like me. Never thought that I would go from corporate to coaching to podcasting, and that's just the beginning. So let me reintroduce to you the 3 rules that we have developed throughout this season. Think of these as your power pivot principles. Number 1, confidence before certainty. This might be the most liberating concept I have ever embraced. You will not have all the answers before you begin. I guarantee you will not. You cannot research your way to a risk-free decision, and that's okay. Confidence means moving anyway with what you know right now, here, today. I did not have a 10-step plan when I started my business for coaching, speaking, in this podcast. I had a why, and my why was helping other women find their voice, being able to speak up, own their self-confidence and their worth. And that was enough for me to start. I had a direction, not a destination. And guess what? This path continues to reveal itself step by step by step. The Harvard Business Review recently published research showing that leaders who work with confident uncertainty, moving forward despite not having all the answers, outperformed those who wait for complete information by a margin of 41% on innovation metrics and 37% on execution timelines. Think about that. The people who are willing to start before they have it all figured out are actually more successful than the ones who wait until their path is perfectly clear. When you wait for certainty, you miss opportunity windows. Amazon's Jeff Bezos calls this regret minimization framework, making decisions not based on what feels safe right now, but on what you'll regret the least when you're 80 looking back. Will you regret taking chances on yourself, even if it didn't work out perfectly? Will you regret never knowing what might have been possible? I can honestly say that for me personally, I could have regretted a lot of things in my life, but instead, I took a lot of calculated risks in my life to see where the path would lead me. And if you have been listening to these previous episodes, you already know a couple of those included a trip to Miami where I found my significant other. Another one was applying for a job in Australia that I thought I was going to get and be moving for. I would have always regretted not going to Miami and seeing my brother, which led to me finding my significant other. I would have always wondered what would have happened had I not applied for the job in Australia. But what I can tell you is that I do not, by any means, regret trying. And here's the truth. There is no right way. There's only your way. And you discover your way by starting to take imperfect action. Being willing to adjust and adapt and learn as you go. Rule number 2, permission comes from within. This is a game changer. A recent study of women executives found that 67% cited waiting for validation as their biggest career regret. 2/3 of successful women who have made it by all external measures, look back and wish they would have trusted themselves sooner. Let's change that narrative right now. I want you to challenge yourself to stop outsourcing your power. Stop waiting for someone else to recognize your potential before you do. If you're waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, go, let this episode be it. Consider this your formal invitation to claim what you already know you want. According to psychology researchers at Columbia University, the act of giving yourself explicit permission, literally writing it down on a piece of paper, increases follow-through on difficult decisions by 42%. There's power in permission, but it has to come from you first. So what I want you to do is I want you to say this out loud right now. I don't need anyone else's permission but my own. Say it again. Feel it. Feel how that lands in your body. Feel the power of reclaiming your own authority. Rule number 3, you are allowed to change your mind. It's a woman's prerogative. This is perhaps the most liberating rule of all, especially for those of us who were raised to believe that consistency equals integrity. That once you choose a path, you must stay on it, or you have somehow failed not only yourself, but your family, your friends, and everyone else. That is not how growth works. It is not how discovery works. And it's most certainly not how fulfilling careers are built in this 21st century. The average person now changes careers, not just jobs, but careers, 5 to 7 times in their lifetime. What used to be considered flaky is now recognized as adaptable and strategic. The ability to pivot is not a weakness. It's a competitive advantage in a rapidly changing world. This applies to career path changes, returning to school, pausing a business to care for a family member or even yourself, or completely reinventing yourself at the age of 40, 50, or 60. You get to change. You get to evolve. You get to respond to new information and circumstances as you see fit. The American Psychological Association found that professionals who embrace the growth through change mindset report 34% higher life satisfaction scores than those who cling to stability at all costs. That's not a small difference. That is the difference between dreading Monday mornings and feeling energized by your work. That used to be me. I used to wake up and have the Sunday night dread or Sunday morning dread. Didn't want to go to work on Monday morning. Now I feel energized. I feel ignited. I know what I am doing is making a difference in so many lives of not only women, but also men that reach out to me and thank me for the work that I'm doing. Does your job do that for you? The beauty in all these rules is that they challenge the outdated notion that your career path should be linear. In reality, the most fascinating and fulfilled professionals I know have career maps that look like winding rivers. They're not straight highways. Think about that. Linear career paths made sense in an industrial economy where you could reasonably expect to work for the same company for 30 years. Now, you're not in that economy anymore. You can't expect to stay there and retire with a gold watch. You are in a knowledge economy where adaptation is the key to survival, where the most valuable skills are the ones that allow you to navigate change with grace and purpose. So I want to be crystal clear about something. Your pivot does not need to make sense to everyone. It just has to make sense to you first. And sometimes it doesn't even need to make complete sense to you right now. You just need to trust that that future self will understand why this step was necessary. Because here's what I know from not only my own personal journey, but also working with hundreds of women in transition. The path rarely looks clear when you're standing at the beginning. It's only when you look back that you can see how every single one of those pieces fit together. So if you're waiting for perfect clarity before you take your first step, you might be waiting forever. But if you are willing to trust yourself, to honor that inner knowing that's been whispering or shouting that it's time for a change, then you are already halfway there. And that brings us to the most important part of this episode. The moment where you stop waiting and start claiming. The moment where you give yourself permission to pivot. So let's do it. Let's write your pivot permission slip together. You don't need a piece of paper, just present. So if you're driving or walking or somewhere where you can't write this down right now, it's okay. You can still follow along and deeply reflect on these questions. Now, if you do have a space where you can write these down, feel free to pause it after each question and start it again when you're ready. But either way, I really want you to sit with these questions. Don't rush through them. Give them the attention that they deserve. First, I want you to think about what you know in your gut that you're ready for. Not what you think you should be ready for. Not what others expect, but what your deepest wisdom is telling you it's time for. Maybe it's a career change. Maybe it's stepping into leadership. Maybe it's finally starting that book or starting that consulting business, having that difficult conversation, leaving that toxic relationship. Maybe it is setting a boundary that is long overdue. Whatever it is, name it to yourself right now. What do I know in my gut that I am ready for? Next, I want you to be honest about what is holding you back. What are you afraid will happen if you say yes to yourself? What's the worst case scenario that currently plays out in your head? Is it failure? Is it judgment from others? Is it financial instability? Is it disappointing someone who depends on you? Whatever it is, acknowledge it. Not to give it power, but to look it in the eye and decide if it's really as insurmountable as it seems. What am I afraid of what will happen if I say yes to myself? Now for the hardest question. What truth are you tired of ignoring? What reality have you been dancing around, making excuses for, or pretending it doesn't even exist? Maybe that is that you've outgrown your current role or your current relationship. Maybe it's that you're burned out and need a break. Maybe it's that you have been playing it small to keep others comfortable. Maybe it's that dream you've been chasing that isn't actually yours. It's someone else's expectations. What is the truth I'm tired of ignoring? And finally, I want you to get specific about what actions you are ready to take. Not someday, not when the timing is perfect, but within the next 72 hours. What action are you willing to take? What is a small but meaningful step that you can take to signal to yourself that this time is different? That this time you are choosing action over contemplation? Will you update your resume? Have a conversation with your partner about your dreams? Research certification programs? Block time on your calendar for a creative project that you keep pushing aside? Setting up a meeting with your boss to discuss your future? What decision am I ready to make in the next 72 hours? Now, I want you to say this with me. It doesn't matter if you want to whisper it, think it, or shout it from the rooftops. Here's what I want you to say. I give myself permission to want more. I give myself permission to start over. I give myself permission to try again. I am no longer waiting for someone else to tell me I am ready. I am no longer waiting for perfect circumstances. I am no longer waiting for the fear to disappear. I am no longer waiting. Starting today, I choose me. Powerful, isn't it? There's something that shifts when you claim your right to pivot, especially as a woman who's been conditioned to consider everyone else's needs before their own. And actually, the science backs this up too, because researchers at New York University found that women who engage in explicit permission-giving exercises reported a 47% increase in decisive action taking in the following month. That is not a small improvement. That is transformative. The decision that these women made weren't rash or reckless. They were thoughtful, strategic, and aligned with their deeply held values. Giving yourself permission does not mean throwing caution to the wind. It means honoring your wisdom enough to act on it. I have created a printable version of the pivot permission slip for you to download from my website. Use it as a keepsake, an affirmation, a bold declaration. Put it somewhere you know you can see it. The bathroom mirror, your desk drawer, your wallet, purse, nightstand, wherever you know you can see it on a daily basis. Let this be a reminder that you have already given yourself the green light. And I want to be clear about something. This is not just a feel-good fluff piece for the last episode. This is powerful because this is neurological reprogramming. When you explicitly give yourself permission, you are rewiring the pathways in your brain that have been conditioned to seek external validation. You are creating new neutral connections that support self-trust and decisive action. And that matters deeply because the truth is you are going to need to give yourself permission again and again and again throughout your pivot journey. Every time you face a new challenge, every time doubt creeps in, every time someone questions your choices, you'll need to come back to this foundation. You have the right to grow. You have the right to change. You have the right to evolve. You have the right to pursue what lights you up. I have seen this play out with clients. The ones who make the most successful pivots aren't necessarily the ones with the most impressive credentials, the biggest networks, or their most financial runway, although those certainly are nice things to have. The ones who succeed are the ones who have mastered the art of giving themselves permission to take the next step, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because here's what I know. Permission isn't something you wait for. It is something you claim. And once you've claimed it, no one can take it away from you. Not your boss, not your partner, not your parents, not your inner critic. Absolutely no one. So I'm asking you, what are you going to give yourself permission to do? And how would your life be different if you stopped waiting and started acting as if you already had the permission you need? Take a moment to really, truly envision that. Feel that freedom, that relief, the excitement of finally moving forward instead of standing still. That is what's available to you right now in this moment. And that is why that permission slip isn't just a cute exercise. It is the foundation of everything that's going to come next. Permission without action is just a nice idea. It's what you do with permission that transforms your life. Here's a framework that has helped me and my clients move from contemplation to creation. Number 1, start before you're ready. Remember what we said earlier about confidence before certainty? This is where you put it into practice. Choose one small action you can take this week that signals to yourself and the universe that you are serious about this pivot. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It does not even have to be public, but it does have to be concrete. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who's already doing what you want to do and asking them for a 15-minute conversation. Maybe it's setting up a separate bank account for your side business. Maybe it's blocking out 2 hours on your calendar every single week for skill building or creative work. Whatever it is, do it. Do it before you feel completely ready, because that is how you build that muscle of decisive action. Step number 2, create your permission posse. One of the biggest myths about successful pivots is that these are solo journeys. I'm here to tell you that is false. Behind every woman who has made a bold move is a circle of people who believed in her and her vision, held space for her doubts, celebrated her wins, and who picked her up when she stumbled. Identify 3 to 5 people who can be part of your permission posse. The ones who will remind you of your wisdom when you forget, who will cheer you on when you doubt yourself, who will tell you the truth when you need to hear it. This is not about surrounding yourself with yes people. It's about creating a circle of support that is grounded in both love and honesty alike. Step number 3, plan your pivot rituals. Transitions are filled with uncertainty. Rituals give you anchors in the storm. They remind you of the power in your purpose when the path feels unclear. Create a daily, weekly, monthly ritual that keeps you connected to not only your pivot, but also your vision. Maybe it's starting each day with a simple affirmation. I trust myself to navigate this change. Maybe it's a weekly review of your progress and learnings. Maybe it's a monthly conversation with a mentor or coach who can help you see the big picture. The specifics matter less than consistency. What matters is that you have practices that ground you in your choices and your capabilities. Step 4, embrace the discomfort. Change is uncomfortable. I have said it numerous times throughout the season. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're growing, you're not comfortable. That is why they are called growing pains. It's not a bug. It is a feature. It's how you know you are growing. So instead of waiting for discomfort to pass, lean into it. Get serious about it. Ask yourself, what is this discomfort trying to teach me? What old story is it challenging? What new muscle is it building? When you reframe discomfort as data rather than danger, you actually transform what could be a stopping point into a stepping stone. Number 5, celebrate every single step. You have been conditioned to dismiss your progress until you reach the final destination. That's like saying a seed that sprouted doesn't matter because it hasn't become a full tree or bared fruit yet. Every single step matters. Every action you take matters. Every small victory counts. Every moment of courage deserves to be celebrated. So create a celebration practice. Keep a victory journal. Share your wins with your permission posse. Treat yourself to something meaningful when you hit your milestones. Maybe it's an extra day off. Maybe it's an extra ice cream. No matter how small they might seem, celebrate them. Because here's the truth. The way you honor your progress shapes the way you experience your pivot. And you, my dear, deserve to experience this journey not only as a means to an end, but as a powerful passage in its own right. We're approaching the end of our time together in this episode and this season. So crazy and hard to believe. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge what you have done by simply being here. You prioritized yourself. You have invested time in your growth you have created a space to consider what's next. That's no small thing in a world that constantly pulls you in a million different directions. Because that's what this has been all about. Not just inspiring you, but about equipping you. Not just motivating you, but mobilizing you. Not just helping you dream, but helping you do. I want to also acknowledge those that have reached out to me, men and women alike, that have thanked me for the things that I have taught them this season. I want to acknowledge you and thank you because you letting me know how these podcast episodes help you, help me continue to build my passion of helping people all around the world. Before I sign off, I want to invite you to take this journey even deeper. If the season sparks something in you, whether you're dreaming, planning, or already in the middle of your pivot, I've created 2 tools just for you. The Career Confidence Blueprint is my signature planner for navigating long transitions. It'll guide you through mindset shifts, job tracking, networking, interview prep, and building your confidence week after week. If you're earlier in the process and need something quicker to activate that first bold step, check out Shift Happens, the Power Pivot System. It's a neat strategy workbook designed to help you go from where do I even start to let's do this. You can grab both on my website, www.jcnewbeginnings.com. They're accessible, powerful, and built with your pivot in mind. So let's recap our journey this season. From identity to imposter syndrome, ageism to alignment, money to mindset, this season was about every layer of your pivot. We've worked through the fear, the doubts, practical concerns, and now the permission to actually make your move. We've talked about redefining success on your own terms, navigating uncertainty with grace, building new skills while honoring the wisdom you already have. We've talked about creating financial safety nets and emotional support systems. And now we have talked about giving yourself permission to act on everything you have learned this season. If you're still here, it's because you know there is something more for you, and you no longer are afraid to name it. You're no longer willing to shrink your desires to fit someone else's expectations. You are no longer content to wait for the perfect moment that will never arrive. To those of you that messaged me saying this podcast helped you feel seen, heard, or shared it with a friend who needed to hear it, thank you so much. You have made this space more powerful than I could have ever imagined. I see you. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you've been here all season, I would love to hear from you. Screenshot this episode, tag me, or DM me your biggest aha moment or the pivot that you are now ready to claim. Let's make this community loud, proud, and unapologetically you. As you move forward from this episode, remember, you do not need another certification. You don't need another year of experience or anyone else's approval to claim what is meant for you. You've already waited long enough. Now is the time. The person is you. And the permission, it's been yours all along. So as I sign off from this episode for this season, just know that season 2 is already in the works and more details will be coming about it soon. But in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to me. But most importantly, stay fierce, stay bold, stay unapologetically you.